My question was, for the one final time, I'm not going to repeat again anymore. Do the progeny of Adam and Eve, doesn't matter how long they come after, do they inherit the personal sin of Adam and Eve? I say no. You say what?
Go on, bro.
No, I would like to hear a response.
You said who speaks.
You said.
You can't dictate.
Excuse me.
answer
I was
is an
speaking to
answer,
her.
right?
You come
An
late.
answer is an answer.
So go on.
An answer is an answer.
You
You
said
really want knowledge?
internal consistency. I have given you an example of inconsistency. Now I would like to hear a response.
It's inconsistent.
Go ahead.
Why can't I answer?
Tell me. Tell me. No, tell me. Tell me.
No, go on, answer. Go on.
Okay, listen. The difference is, in Christianity, you are not accountable for the personal sins that someone has done. That's not what we believe in. In fact, according to Adam and Eve's personal sins, we are not even accountable for Adam and Eve's personal sins. The only reason why we say we are sinful because of Adam and Eve is because when Adam and Eve personally sinned against God, since Adam and Eve are the head and the archetype of our nature, since we borrowed that nature from Adam and Eve, that nature that we have is then guilty by default. That's what happens. So that's what we call original guilt from the nature, not from the personal act. In Christianity, you're not going to be guilty for
I hope you're listening.
Listen. You're in Christianity, you are not going to be guilty just because another person personally sinned. That's not how it works. How it works is, hey guys, you guys were all created via a consequence of Adam and Eve, and because Adam and Eve are the archetypes of your nature, since Adam and Eve's nature is now corrupt, since, you know, in Genesis chapter 2, God literally says, now that you've sinned, you will surely die on this day. So their nature is corrupt, their nature is dead. Now we inherit that corrupt nature, and now we are dead with
So
them.
now, before you give
That's
example,
what's
what you've heard,
So can you please,
are you
excuse me,
guilty
I'm not done.
of the sin of
I
Adam
am
and
not
Eve?
done.
I'm speaking to
I'm
her.
not done. I'm
I've had
talking
enough.
to you.
Go ahead.
I don't care about what you've heard.
I don't care about you either. Go
You
ahead.
lied. You lied.
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to expose you.
So go ahead.
So show how in Ezekiel chapter 18, show how as a man.
Have you read it?
Show how in Ezekiel chapter 18 is talking about personal guilt and not original guilt. Go ahead. I mean, it's talking about original guilt and not personal guilt. Go ahead.
When a baby is born and dies, what happens to that baby? Goes to heaven or hell?
He just brushed past.
Baby doesn't have a personal sin, right? Yet, do you believe baby of 1 second?
That's what I said.
A baby.
So Mansur is a liar.
Excuse
He
me.
claims inconsistencies
Can
in the Bible.
Can you stop
but he
this
doesn't want to back
comedians
it up. He doesn't want to
interrupting our
back
discussion?
it up with me.
Calling me a liar
very
and so on,
fast.
it's not going to help the discussion.
Okay, then back
So
it
now,
up.
excuse me.
Go ahead. We're waiting. We're waiting.
Move that away from my face. Can you do
We're
that?
waiting for you.
Excuse me. Can you mind controlling
Yeah,
this
because
heckler?
you don't want to answer,
Do you mind?
right?
Thank you.
Because you don't want to talk to me, right?
So the answer I'm giving is.
Do you want to talk to me?
I'm speaking to her. So
Do
the
you wanna talk to
answer.
me?
Don't
Do you
do
want
that.
to talk to Veritas? Don't talk to me.
Don't do that.
Do you want to talk to Veritas?
Do you mind coming here? Okay. So
Oh,
the response
he
I'm
doesn't
giving
wanna
to this
talk.
question, I hope you've
So
listened
he
to,
says
right?
there's inconsistencies in the
So
Bible.
here it is.
But he doesn't want to back it up.
How can I talk when he's
Because he's a
interrupting?
liar.
And it's interesting
So-
that he was talking
So,
about babies and children.
so
When
now,
in the deed, it says,
as you realize,
messenger,
look,
there is happiness
they think
for
you haven't
child
got a
who is
brain.
bird from the birds of paradise.
Camera on her.
No sin.
Camera on her. Focus on
Nor
her.
has-
They
nor
haven't
has
got.
he reached the
They
age
think she hasn't got a
where
brain.
one had committed sin. He said,
Come over this way, come over this way.
It may be otherwise, because
Come
God
at the front,
has
come at the front.
created paradise, those who are fit for it.
Thank you.
While those who are yet in their father's
What I'm
void
responding to
and
his
created
point,
for
I hope
those
you've
who are
listened to,
for hell,
is
who are
this.
those who are to go
He's
to
talking
hell.
about a
Created
distinction
them for
between
hell
a personal
while they were
guilt
in their father's
and the original
void.
guilt.
Oh, so
So how
Islam
do you
is the same
argue
So
thing.
what I'm saying is, look,
So in Islam it's the same
when
thing,
we want
right?
to understand personal guilt, can you
So
not
in
do that
Islam
again?
it's the same thing.
Can you
I
not do
don't
that
want
again?
you to run from my question.
Can you not do that
I
again,
don't want
please?
you
Yeah.
to run from my question.
So when a
Don't
baby
make
is
claims about the
born,
Bible and don't back them up. Back it up.
I'm refuting.
Back it up.
Don't put that in my face again.
Back it up.
I've
back
warned
it up.
him. I've warned him.
Back it
Don't
up.
do that again.
You don't want to back it up?
I've warned him. I've warned
That's
him.
what I thought.
Don't put that in my face,
Because you're
right?
a liar. You don't want to back up your claims,
So,
right?
as I'm saying,
That's what I thought.
when we understand personal guilt, a personal sin or guilt is an action of an individual. When they do an action that goes against God, that
goes against
becomes
your point, doofus.
God becomes a sin. When a baby is born and dies the next second, 1 second of life, now we want to test this response and explanation, whether it's actually consistent or not. According to Ezekiel, the son does not inherit anything from the father.
Okay.
In your understanding of Christian belief, in your understanding Christian belief, when a baby is born and dies without baptism, where is the baby going to go, heaven or hell?
Can you show me where in Ezekiel? Where you said it's
Whole chapter,
I
18.
don't like
Beginning to the end, whole chapter. We can read the whole chapter.
I need to look at it
Yeah.
to understand the context. So you're saying that Ezekiel says that
have a discussion with me. He's gonna
you
do that
don't
right
get,
after.
the son doesn't get the sin of the father, or
It starts with a proverb. There's a proverb in Israel, like the sour grapes, right? Makes the teeth. Yeah. God says no longer would this be applicable anymore. Now, a father, if he's good, he's responsible for his actions. If he's bad, his son doesn't inherit the badness. The whole chapter goes example after example what this means. The whole chapter. If you haven't read it, you can read it at home, but now just glance it and see. It refutes the idea that children can be accountable for the sins of their parents and fathers. That's why I'm asking. When a baby is born, in your understanding, does the baby inherit the sin of the Adam and Eve? Or the baby is sinless because he hasn't done any sin yet?
Bring a word, define what you mean by the word.
I think let me read this one and I'll give you the answer.
No, read, take your time.
Excuse me.
Take your
What do you
time.
mean by the term? For example, let me give you an example.
So I think before I even read the whole thing, I think what we mean by the fact that we inherit the sin is that we are capable
but
of
is it
sin.
true that I'm the
Like
president?
we in our nature we can
we
sin.
will die.
And,
Exactly.
So you don't inherit the sin.
Exactly.
We've
president?
inherited that sin nature, and that we will die.
My parents are Italian. I'm Italian by default. But it doesn't. It's not something that I have done, but it's because of the nature. Okay, in my nature, it's not because I've done anything to become Italian. I didn't apply for citizenship, but by nature, I'm Italian. Okay, and that's the same thing that happened with us with Adam and Eve.
But
And
sin
the
is an
reason-
action though. Sin is an action against God.
Exactly. So
It's also a
So
state
have
of
you
being.
inherited
It's also
a sin?
The thing is this, as I said, the sin can be an action, but we're inherited sinners, which means that we are capable of sinning.
But that's not-
Can I finish my answer?
Okay, take your time.
However, a baby, if he has not committed any sin, he's not gonna be able to go. He's not gonna be judged and go to hell because he has not acted upon his nature. He has not committed sin. In fact, Jesus, and if you look at Romans,
Is that what the Christians believe?
yes, it is what
Ask him whether he believes in that.
If you look at Romans,
Do you believe the
5,
babies of one day old after dying without baptism they go to heaven or hell?
Where do I believe that they go?
Yeah.
I believe they go to heaven.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that Jesus preached to the dead.
And
but also
And
Romans
that-
hear him. And
And in Romans 5 that we know that God does not impute any sin against someone when there is no law.
so the babies, when they die, Jesus has not preached to them. So in
No. We know that Jesus, when he died, he also preached to the dead.
okay.
The realm of the dead, right, is completely unknown to us, right? Sheol.
Would everyone accept then?
What is it?
Would everyone accept his preaching? They did not accept him during when he was alive. Why do you expect that he will?
Even before he was alive.
Look,
Right?
why would we expect the dead would listen to him when they did not believe in him when he was alive?
That's a different point.
Agree.
That's a different point.
So
We are
fine,
showing-
but
we've also
taking
shown in Romans that when there is no law, sin is not imparted. The penalty.
so we don't inherit the sin of Adam and Eve.
No, we got the nature. In the sense that me and you both die.
We are capable of dying. However, so we are capable of sin. But if you haven't committed yet, you're not going to be accountable for it because you haven't committed any sin.
So you don't have the original sin.
The original sin means that we inherit the nature.
Now you're explaining it. Look, either you have the original sin or you have the potentiality. Potential to sin.
My parents are Italian. I'm born Italian.
Here-
I'm Italian.
here-
It's because of nature.
hear my
So
explanation.
nature is-
Either you have the original sin or you have what we call potential to sin. You are, like, I can't call you a criminal unless you've done a criminal activity. So, I can't call you a terrorist unless you committed a crime of terrorism.
This is not fair comparison. This is not fair
So,
comparison.
do you believe you have the original sin or the consequence of original sin, which is the potential to sin.
I'm explaining it to you again. You're putting some standards that none of them, like you can have both basically. What I'm saying is that you have the potential, you're a sinner because you're born by nature. But if you haven't...
Are you a sinner before you sin?
I'm a potential sinner by nature because by nature...
Are you a sinner before you commit a sin? Can I call you a potential terrorist?
No, it's not, as I said, you cannot do that.
So let's not do that. You are only a sinner when you commit a sin.
What I'm telling you.
Does that make sense or not?
Or you're born in corrupted nature.
If I'm born from Italian parents, I have the potential.
You have the potential for what?
To eat spaghetti, to speak
So,
Italian. Wait a second.
okay.
To do what entails the Italian culture. However,
you have the potential to sin.
My nature,
You receive the potential.
My nature is Italian, okay? My nature is Italian, but because I died day one, I haven't expressed anything of the Italian culture. I haven't expressed it. So you cannot say that, oh, the baby. So if there was an act, I've done any act. So if sin is an act, I haven't committed any of those acts because I'm a day one, and this is both. So
you agree with me on the second meaning that you have not inherited the original sin because that was an act that you have not inherited. But
no, I mean not the act. I've inherited the nature.
Allow me to see if I got this right. You have not inherited the original sin, so that means you are not a sinner. What you have inherited is a consequence of that act, is a change of nature, human nature. In your belief, that nature is now have the potential to commit sin. So unless you commit a sin, you are not a sinner. The moment you commit a sin, you're a sinner, you're accountable. Have I got this right?
I think...
But there's also a distinction between inherited sin and partial sin.
So have I got this right?
That's what he said before.
Because they are disagreeing with you, saying you have the original sin and not the personal sin which is on yours. But you are explaining to me that you do not have anyone else's sin.
What she just explained. The original sin is what she just
Look,
explained.
a sin and nature is not the same. Sin is an act based on a particular nature of a thing.
The thing is,
Isn't it?
You're created, you're part of this fallen, the conditions in which you find yourself in are fallen. He says that we all have fallen.
Isn't that what I explained to you? You are a human being with a nature, with a potential to sin. Unless you sin, you are not a sinner. You only have a potential. I cannot call you a rapist unless you rape. Right?
Can I ask you what you're getting with this?
So what I'm getting is this. Christians believe that they have inherited the original sin, not only a nature, but the sin itself.
What is this? And what is that? No, what's that sin itself? What's that sin itself?
Disobedience to God that was committed by Adam and Eve, which you have inherited. But I say, as you say, we disagree with them, disagree with the Christians. You don't have to agree with me now, since we talk about the same thing and disagreeing with both them and the whole Christianity. That's where the inconsistency is. You agree with me, but the Christians say, no, New Testament teaching is this, you have inherited the original sin, and that's why you need Jesus Christ to come and save you from that original sin. Not your own personal sin, from the original sin, because of what happened. So, this is why I'm saying it's inconsistent. 2 examples I've given. Can we now move on to the further examples? Because I want to respond. Go ahead, respond.
I think... Hang on.
No, after you. I was going to say something.
So I don't think, again, what you're saying doesn't match with what I believe, and you didn't get it, because I do believe in the original sin, in the inherited sin, in the sense that we all have fallen, according to the Bible, we all have fallen short of God's glory, and we all have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. And but if you're talking about the one, because of Romans 5, the one that he read you earlier, that sin is not imputed into you because you don't have the brain faculty to understand what the law says, to understand, to be subjected to the law, right?
Can we read
sin
that? Let's just read that.
imputed on you.
Therefore, just as through one man sin entered the world, and death through sin, and thus death spread to all men because all sinned. For until the law, sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed where there is no law.
What do you understand by that?
if you don't have faculty ability to understand the laws, to understand what the law says, or to know the law, if you don't know the law, like that sin is not imputed onto you.
But the question was, do you have the original sin inherited, the sin of Adam and Eve, in which they committed an action, disobeying God, and the action carries a punishment? Do you inherit that sin and the punishment along with it? That's my question. If you say no, then I have one answer. If you say yes, then I have another answer. I want to know your position. You're not making it clear. Please make it clear.
Because I think it's none of the two positions that you're describing. My answer doesn't fit none of those two positions. So you're trying to box me inside what you're saying.
There can be only two positions. Either you inherit the sin or you don't. There is no third option.
Or there's a corruption of nature.
No. Corruption of nature means you have not inherited the sin. It's a consequence of that. So either you believe in the consequence that changed your nature. You've read how many times you're going to read and you can't even explain what it means.
Sin entered the world and death through sin, and thus death spread to all men.
You can keep on reading 100 times and you fail to explain what it means.
Sin was in the world, but sin is not imputed when there is no law. Nevertheless, death reigned from
You're supposed to
Adam to
listen.
Moses, even over those who had not sinned according to the likeness of the transgression of Adam, who is a type of him who was to come. But the free gift is not like the offense. For if by one man's offense many died, much more the grace of God and the gift by the grace of the one man, Jesus Christ, abounded to many. So, I'll continue on actually. And the gift is not like that which came through the one who sinned. For the judgment which came from the one from one offense resulted in condemnation. And the free gift which came from many of offenses resulted in justification. So we are saying that when...
Can you explain what he said?
We are saying that when Adam sinned, what he did was, as it says, he put the whole world into subjection to fertility. We have received this sinful corruption that has now permeated through everybody who now then sins.
So you're punished. You're punished for what they sin.
This is not a punishment.
What is it?
This is a result of corruption. The punishment.
You are now corrupted because of what they have done.
No, the punishment is hell. That's the punishment.
And what's the corruption? Is that good?
Corruption
is that reward?
The corruption there is what is resolved with Jesus Christ, which is how we know that God has sorted it.
Explain to me, an action has a consequence. The action of Adam and Eve was they disobeyed God, and the consequence is you have a corrupted nature.
And God then resolves that corrupted nature.
Is that corrupted nature a reward or a punishment to you, which you had nothing to do with Adam and Eve's action? So now, are you rewarded with a corrupt nature or you're punished with a corrupt nature?
Well, aren't you rewarded with Jesus Christ? We've received Jesus Christ.
Sorry?
Jesus Christ is for everyone.
Let us speak.
It's not a reward or a punishment, it's a condition.
Come on. A consequence of an action is either good or bad. Are you saying it is sometimes God's command has neutral consequences?
No, what I'm saying is that if we are born into a condition, it's by default.
I am saying when God commands something and somebody disobeys that command, and as a consequence something happens. This something that happens, is it something, a punishment from God, a reward from God, or just a neutral thing?
The punishment is hell.
Let us think. Is that a neutral consequence? It's not a neutral consequence, is it?
That is what we get out of it.
Look, if they did not do that, we would not be corrupted. That's what you believe is. So now you have a corrupt nature. It's like you want to go to open a bank account, and you're already £1,000 in debt. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a bad thing. Listen. If I want to open a bank account, and I don't see a balance being negative, it's just zero, I say, good. It's not good or bad. Neither good nor bad. If I see already a deposit, it's a good thing. It's a bonus given. But if I see a negative bank account, I'm already £1,000 in debt, or £1 million in debt. You would say, hang on, that's not fair. I had nothing to do with it.
We received the 1,000. We received the balance.
Listen,
we received the free gift.
Let me finish. When I want to open a bank account and I'm already £1 million in debt, how is that fair? Tell me, in a bank account scenario, how would that be fair?
Jesus came to
No, bank. If I open a bank account, both of us, soon as we open the bank account, we are already £1 million in debt. Negative. Is that fair?
I think the analogy is not the same because
Forget the similarity. In this analogy,
why are we
is it
talking about
fair?
the
Is it
analogy?
fair?
so if it's not true analogy,
I will tell you why it's true. You are disagreeing because
No,
you don't
you
want
said
to
it's not
talk
true,
about
now
the
you're saying
analogy.
it's
No, what I'm saying is you just simply want to brush aside the analogy. I'm saying let's look at the analogy and I will demonstrate why it's similar. When we open a bank account, what I'm saying is, please,
condition is wrong.
why is this unfair or is it fair?
I'm saying your analogy is a bit unfair.
We will-
Let me explain you why.
Okay, go ahead.
The starting point is wrong because
Why?
the fact when you open a bank account, that's wrong because how do you explain it? We are all falling. We are all part of this
No,
condition.
bank.
I know, but the bank account gives an example of where in which everything is perfect before, there is nothing, and then you open a bank account and suddenly you're unjustly put in this situation.
Unjustly.
But wait a second.
Imagine the bank did this because certain individual like this friend of yours, please don't take it personally. He said everyone did something bad or someone did something bad. Anyone now opens a bank account, £1 million in debt. He made that law.
No, that's not the context
So
of the scripture.
wait. I'm not talking about scripture, I'm talking bank account.
No, but that's
In
not,
that
that's
bank,
not the context of the
look.
scriptures.
In this bank
They're
account
not
example,
individuals.
hello. In this bank account example, you would say,
But the initial conditions of this
"Oh,
bank
please.
account example are wrong.
Look, you want to open a bank account, and now you realize £1 million in debt because what he has done and what he has said. You would say, but I haven't done anything. Why am I now being punished?"
Can I give you what another analogy would be?
Yeah.
What you open a bank account, but all the money in the world are not there, it's not available. Like for some reason, like all the money is gone. Like there is, I don't know, there is a crisis, a monetary crisis, and so the condition itself is a bad condition. So the bank itself actually is failing. Like the bank itself, the bank where you're opening a bank account, they're closing down, or like there is an issue, it's damaged. They have no money, they're gone in bankrupt or something, and that's why there is no money. So it's not fair, no, but it's the condition of the bank.
Is it fair for you or not?
That's where you choose. So you choose to open a bank account knowing that the bank is failing and is going to bankrupt.
Would you say it's fair?
It's your choice. I mean, if you know that
It's your choice?
no, wait, I'm saying.
Excellent.
I'm saying in your example, you're saying that I'm telling you that there is this bank who's.
What if you don't have a choice?
Let me speak. In your example, I'm using your example. There is a bank who's bankrupt, who's failing, who's closing down. This bank is closing down, and knowing that, I'm choosing to open a bank account in that bank.
What if I don't choose?
Then you don't open it. Right? You know what? A second, and that's why I'm telling you that your analogy is not the same because we are born in this world and there is no choice.
Okay.
Instead,
Now let me
your
tell you why the analogy is the same.
No,
It's
no,
not.
I'll
I
give you a
will.
better analogy.
I will tell you now the analogy.
Can I give you a better analogy?
Can I? Okay, go ahead.
If you were born into poverty, is it your fault that your family is poor?
No.
It's not your fault that your family is poor. But it's true that you're poor.
Yeah.
Are you going to stay in that poverty? Is it your choice to stay in that poverty?
Up to you.
It's your choice to stay in that poverty.
Yeah.
But it's true that you're poor.
That's the reality.
But that's the reality.
The consequence of poverty happened even before I was here.
But it's not your fault, is it?
It's not my fault.
Right. So it's the same with the sin. That sin is not. Hold on. That sin is not our fault.
Let me explain this analogy why it doesn't work.
Hold on. That sin is not our fault. So we're born into this state of poverty. We're born into this state of corruption due to one man, as it said in the scriptures. But to another man, Jesus Christ, we are now brought out of the poverty.
Okay,
We're
now
given
let me
that
now
choice.
address this then. Let me address this. I asked you not about the consequence. The poverty is a consequence. You keep mixing the two, conflating the two, consistently. I'm saying don't do this. Sin is an act of disobedience to God's will. Adam and Eve, in your belief, disobeyed. They have a consequence, which is?
You're
Wait.
contradicting you.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Look.
Your presumption is wrong. Sin
Look,
is not just an
wait,
act.
wait.
Sin is not.
What is a sin?
So the original sin and the
No, what is
personal
a sin?
Wait a second. What I'm saying is wrong because the original sin and my personal sin are not the same
two
thing.
seconds.
I didn't say that the sin.
Yeah, but
That's what we're trying to
issue
explain.
I am
is.
saying,
Poverty analogy
do you
is the
accept?
original sin.
Do you accept you have inherited the original sin? That's the question.
We are condemned because of that. We are in
That's a
condemnation.
consequence of the sin. Do you have the original sin inherited?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
If you inherit the sin, that means you are also liable for punishment because it's like you are doing the sin. That's what it means, inherited the sin. If someone's
we are all judged
look,
according for
if
our
someone
sins.
look, let me, if
You know that's
someone,
from the scriptures.
according to Ezekiel, if the father committed, say, murder, is the son now guilty of murder and should be punished, liable for punishment? The Ezekiel says no. Father committed the crime of murder. The consequence does not pass on to the son. And the son is not now a murderer. It's not a murderer.
But do you understand
Let me finish.
that this is
Let
a
me finish.
context that's
Please.
after the fallen
Let me
state?
finish. Let me
This
finish.
is a context towards people
Let
on the
me
fallen state.
finish.
You understand?
Let me finish first, and then you come back.
Yeah.
So, according to Ezekiel, the son is not a murderer because the father murdered someone. The son has not inherited the crime of murder. Neither will he have the punishment of being punished with capital punishment, death, or execution, whatever.
That's a different example.
Now, the question I'm back to you.
Yeah.
Do you believe you have inherited the sin of disobedience, of eating of the tree that Adam and Eve did, and the punishment that comes with it?
So the example that you're giving in Ezekiel 18 is not the same thing. It's not addressing the same issue, and I'll tell you why. Because, of course, in the context in which Ezekiel is speaking, they thought that was what they were thinking. Because if the father was a murderer, then I guess the blame would pass on to the rest. The whole family would be, I guess, would pay the consequences of the action of one person in the family. However, it's not here is not discussing the same thing. What we're talking about is that the condition in which you're born is already corrupted. So it's not the example.
Even if the condition is corrupt, Ezekiel 18 does not allow the inheritance of your forefather's sin.
personal sin.
That forefather could even be Adam and Eve. No one sin from your
No, that's
parental
not what it's
lineage.
talking about.
That's what it talks
I'll
about.
read the commentary. I'll read the commentary.
No, read the verse. Sorry, read the
read the verse.
text.
I'll read the verse
Read the
and the
text.
commentary.
No, read the text. Read the
So,
text.
the proverb that
I don't
says-
want a Christian twisted commentary. I want you to read the text. And you have read it yourself. The verses clearly say that the father would not in any way transmit
Commentary
the
gives
son.
us the context. When they're talking about the father and the sour grapes, right? It says the proverb was a protest and complaint. The idea was that the present generation was being unjustly punished for what their fathers did. One would think that if the fathers have eaten sour grapes, then the fathers would have the sour taste in their teeth. According to the proverb, the fathers didn't have the sour taste and the children did. The proverb reflects a materialistic fatalism, a resignation to immutable cosmic rules of cause and effect, an embittered paralysis of the soul that has left the exiles without hope.
I'm going to ask you to explain afterwards.
Right? So what's happening here is that these people are exiles, right? And they are now blaming their forefathers, and they're trying to say it's their forefathers, and this is what has caused them to be exiled. What God is telling them is that you are trying to make this some sort of proverb about your materialistic understanding of the world. But that's not the case. Your sins are your personal sins is what you're going to be judged for. This is also after, you need to take into consideration, this is after the fact of original sin, where we already understand that Adam is our federal head, he's the head of
Repeating
humanity.
the same thing.
Yeah, but that's, if you're
I
not gonna-
agree with you of a personal sin. You're responsible for your own sin. But that's not what I am disputing and questioning. I am saying you have another belief on top. It's called the original sin of Adam and Eve, which you have inherited. Either you've inherited that sin as well, and the punishment as well, or only the consequences of what they have done, like a poverty in my case, for example, the example that he gave earlier on. Now, if you say you are only inheriting the consequence, then that's not inheriting the sin. So there is no original sin on your shoulder. No one needs to die for you. You only do your own action and you get clean with God. Do you accept that you have no inheritance of original sin and its punishment?
Your conclusion there is wrong.
I'm asking you a question.
No,
I'm not concluding.
no. The way that you sound, therefore there is no need of Jesus. I think to be punished for our
That's
sins.
something different. We can disagree on this.
No, because you said you could do it on
Do you accept that you have inherited the sin and its punishment of Adam and Eve, or you have not? It's only what they have done. Through their action, there was a consequence. The world changed, humans changed, human got corrupted, and now we have the potential to sin. Which one is it?
Just so we all a bit.
One final time on this matter.
Mansur, hold on. Let me just so we're all tied up on this matter. From my understanding, Adam and Eve were made in a particular place in Islam, and after they sinned, they were cast out. Their casting out was done by God. Can any of you get back to that place without God letting you in? No, I don't think so. So what God has done for you in casting you to earth, you are born on earth, right? So should you be here according to what Adam and Eve have done? I don't think so, because if Adam and Eve didn't sin, they wouldn't have been cast out of the garden.
Islamic teaching
right?
is otherwise.
Hold on.
God created us to be on this earth.
No, he didn't.
You haven't read our Quran, that's the problem.
Did he create Adam and Eve to be on this earth?
Yes. God
So-
says to Adam, Inni ja'ilun fil ardi khalifa. I am about to place man as a vicegerent on this earth. This
That
is
was
Surah
after.
Al-Baqarah.
That was after he was
No. This is before the creation of Adam and Eve. Before the creation, God speaking to the angels. God saying, I'm about to create mankind. And angel said, what? Are you going to create man that's going to commit mischief and bloodshed? God says, you don't know what I know. Right? So it was already decided God is going to place human beings on earth. Anyway, coming back to your point.
So if they were supposed to be in human earth, why they being placed in heaven first? I'm asking you a question.
In heaven, God has demonstrated that take Satan as your enemy. Already. When you're on earth, make sure you take him as your greatest enemy, avowed enemy. So this was a lesson learned from Adam and all the creation at that time.
But they were in paradise.
So my question to you again, please. I want to end this particular, because I need to respond to all of your other points. That either you have inherited the original sin and its punishment, or like what I say, I think you mean not inherited the sin and the punishment, but only the consequences of that thing. Which one is it?
So I explained to you the fact that we inherited the consequences means that we are that for us to be there is no way for us not to sin. It means that nobody from the moment that you have the faculty abilities will be able to resist sin. That's the condition in which we're born. That's the consequence of sin. Therefore, Jesus needs to come. Because
You're addressing something different.
no, I'm telling you what it is. Therefore, because we're all gonna sin eventually, because of the condition we are, that's why Jesus came.
You're talking about personal sin.
Yes.
I'm talking about the original sin.
And I'm giving it to you. So the original sin is basically the consequence. Is for us.
So you don't believe in the original sin inherited, only the consequence.
I believe that the
What do you
condition.
again? In what sense do you mean by inherited?
If in Ezekiel chapter 18, if the son is
but we know
called,
that- no, but hold
please,
on,
you ask me and you don't want to
Ezekiel is
explain.
talking about people
I am,
who are already
I am
fallen.
answering. You are
Ezekiel is
fallen.
about people who are
Adam and
already
Eve done an
fallen.
action, and Ezekiel, there are some people, and you and me are some people. Two categories of people after the fall in your belief. In Ezekiel 18, the son cannot be called a murderer and would not inherit the sin of murder by his father. So he's not going to be punished for the sin of his father.
Yeah, personal sin.
If he is being punished and he's called a murderer, that will be called you have inherited, you have taken in that sin. That's what I mean by
okay.
inherited. So in
Personal
that
sin of
light,
fallen people,
have
yeah.
you inherited the sin and punishment of Adam and Eve?
Answer. So in Ezekiel 18, what is talking about that you won't take the personal sin of your father. So that's the example that he's saying. So it's a personal sin that you're not going to inherit. However, both the father and the son, in that context, they inherit. They have the accountable for
Of the personal sin of Adam and Eve?
Not the personal sin of it, but they're
Sorry?
born in the
Did
condition.
Adam and Eve do a personal sin? Yes.
Adam and Eve.
So according to this belief, let me clarify now. I think you're getting there eventually. Well done. Adam and Eve did a personal sin. Do the progeny, children of Adam and Eve, inherit this personal sin? That's the question. So simple.
The difference is that in Ezekiel, when we are seeing what God
Let's leave Ezekiel. Let's hear your response.
in Ezekiel, what's happening there is that you have people who are already in a fallen state. They're already in sin.
Yes,
and God
that's
is
what
saying
you
that
believe.
they will not, so in other words, it's a different category compared to Adam, who is our federal head, which is why we needed another federal head, which is Jesus
You're repeating
Christ.
the same thing. Adam
but
and
I'm showing you the
Eve
difference.
sinned, and
So in
all
other
the
words,
progeny is all the progeny. So does any of the progeny?
No, but that's by
Wait,
nature. Don't you
please,
understand?
please.
Sin is through man's nature.
Do any of the progeny of Adam and Eve inherit the personal sin of Adam and Eve? That is the question I've asked hundreds of times. I'm exaggerating, many times. And you kept avoiding it because you know the Christian teaching is you've inherited it and you're reluctant to answer. That's the whole situation. We keep repeating the
Well,
same
you don't
thing.
have-
That's why I'm going to
you need
move
define
on.
exactly what
Because
personal sin is.
I have already defined. Adam and Eve, when they did something, it's a personal sin. It's not a collective sin. It's their own personal act. Personal sin. My question was, for the one final time, I'm not going to repeat again anymore. Do the progeny of Adam and Eve, doesn't matter how long they come after, do they inherit the personal sin of Adam and Eve? I say no. You say what?
They inherit the consequence. They inherit the consequence.
Don't talk about do they inherit bananas. Do they inherit the
They
sin?
inherit the consequence.
Answer it directly. Do the progeny inherit the personal sin? The answer is yes, no, maybe, I don't care. Who knows?
Yes.
Yes. Then this is exactly what I'm saying. The Old Testament refutes that concept.
Where?
In Ezekiel, doesn't identify only person.
That's exactly what I'm talking
No,
about.
Ezekiel says the father, his sin.
That's the personal one.
Please
We
listen.
already gave it- we already-
Hello? Adam and Eve is his personal one.
But it's the original sin. It's the original sin.
Doesn't
It's
matter
different.
how long
No,
comes.
no, it's the,
Oh, come on, come on.
because before
I find
them,
it.
there was no
I
sin.
I
Before
find
them, there was
look.
no sin.
I find it very unfair. Any progeny, if they carry the father's sin, that will be unfair because they have
Carry
not.
the
No, but
ability
you-
to sin.
That's not inheriting the sin. That's a consequence that makes you different, that you can
That
now
is the
sin.
point.
But I didn't ask you that. I'm saying, do the progeny carry the sin and the punishment? The sin is disobedience to God, which takes them out of paradise. So if you did this, you would have the same punishment. Do you inherit that as well?
Only Adam did it. What are you talking about?
So
Just
The
like
we have
punishment-
explained.
you, just like you are not. in
I'll
paradise.
listen to your example, but I'm going to move on. I've given two examples. In my humble opinion, I've
You
demonstrated.
absolutely do inherit the sin. You do. I mean, I don't believe this, but in the religion, you do
We inherit the con- we get-
for
That's what I thought.
For example, women suffered pain in childbirth,
Childbirth.
because of what Eve
No, but there's
so
a difference between sin
supposedly
and
did.
consequence.
Thank you for making it clear.
And
Sin and
you know the
consequence.
animal kingdom, the
there's a
animal
difference- you
kingdom and
understand
all
there's
the
a
pain
difference
and
between-
suffering, animals
but-
kill animals.
But there's a
That's
difference
condi-
between
con-
sin and
All of that
consequence.
has happened because of original sin, which happened because Eve ate an apple.
No,
And we've
because
inherited the
we are out,
consequence of
we are
that.
out of the present. We are out of the garden, and therefore we are the blessing.
Yes, but
wait a
we-
second, but that's
Yes, but where
because
we
there
live
is a
right now,
condition.
the place where we live right now, external to this garden,
Yeah.
is what you inherit. You've inherited this.
Okay, in that case,
this
you would,
sin,
wait,
this
hold on,
original
hold on.
sin idea.
You would say the same for Islam, then, right?
I
Because
think we've
Adam and Eve were
explained
made
this
in paradise, and they were
in
also sent out,
enough
right?
detail.
So, in Islam,
No,
they also
please,
have,
let's move
in
on.
Islam, they also have original sin.
Come on, let's move on.
Yeah, but you say
Let's
Islam,
move on.
they also have original sin.
Let's move on. The consequences both agree. Something happened, right?
Okay,
Not in the
exactly.
way you believe. Because of the consequence, you say human beings, but I say
They
human
would say
beings
that, but-
cannot sin unless they had the ability to sin in the first place. So your whole theology, I find it inconsistent and incoherent. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. If Adam and Eve did not have the potential to sin, would they be able to sin?
Mansur, what
It's
you
a
talking
very
about?
critical question on your theology. So I want you to think before you answer. If Adam and Eve did not have the potential to sin, could they have sinned? There you go. So that means the reason they are able to sin is because they had the potential. Just
We are
like,
made free, because we are made free. We're not
no,
robots.
no, just like you have the potential to sin. So nothing has changed between you and Adam and Eve.
What
We
has
have
changed is
all,
death, which is
no,
separation.
what,
We've got to
what
do
we
this.
have is
We've got to do this.
Adam and Eve and
Mansur,
all
we're
his
talking for
progeny
hours now.
have the same
Mansur.
potential to sin.
No, because the thing is, they,
Sorry?
The thing is that
What
we are,
is different?
that we are already that the original state, the state in which Adam and Eve were created, is different from our state because we are ready.
What state is different? What is this difference in state?
Because we are out
born
of,
in that corruption already.
We are born in the we are born,
Born in
out
what?
of the of the garden of
No,
Eden.
in terms of nature, what's different?
Our nature's been corrupted. We are now.
What is that
because
corruption of
sin,
nature? Hang on. What is the example of a
Death.
corrupt nature?
death.
But Adam and Eve would be dying anyway because they did not eat the life of tree of life. You live forever if you eat the tree of life. Did he eat them?
No, he didn't eat them.
So there you
That's why
go.
God sent
So
them
according
out.
to look, this is where
Separation was God
where
sending them out of
Christians
the
don't
garden.
read their Bible.
Listen, death is not the physical death. Death is separation between
are many
us and
forms
God.
of death.
That is not the death of the physical body. That is the death, the separation between us and God. Meaning the one.
So explain to me the nature Adam and Eve have and his progeny have and the difference between that.
That they wouldn't have gone. They wouldn't have been separated. So Adam and Eve would have eternally lived in the presence of God, enjoying the blessings of God.
Based on what?
Based on their having.
What nature do they have that will let them live forever?
An uncorrupted human nature.
When you say uncorrupted, what do you mean by
That
uncorrupted?
they haven't sinned.
Hmm?
They haven't sinned.
They haven't sinned.
They have not disobeyed God.
So if somebody doesn't have any sin, they can live with God.
If they are born
In
without
fact,
sin,
that's why Jesus, the only one who was with God is Jesus. Because
Babies are sinless. Don't forget them. Babies have not committed any sin.
there is no sin.
Babies have
imputed
committed a
to
sin?
them.
Sorry, please explain to me.
Okay,
A baby
I'll explain.
is born and dies the next second.
there
Are you saying the baby is a sinner? Are you saying the baby is a sinner?
So I'm telling you that the baby can has a sinner nature, but because he has not committed any sin, it's not going to be imputed on him.
So the baby is not a sinner.
Okay,
Look,
listen.
either the baby is a no. I know. It
Mansur,
critical
Mansur, okay, Mansur,
question
okay,
from a
Mansur.
Muslim really hits hard.
No,
You
but have
you
to
know
say the
very
question.
well. You know
have to
very
say-
well.
have
You
to
know
say
very
the
well. When we ask this question, a baby is not a sinner, but you don't want to say he's not a sinner. You want to believe he's not a sinner, but you don't want to admit it. I am telling you, the baby is not a sinner because the baby has not committed an action. If you say and agree with me, baby is not a sinner, then the baby has not inherited the original sin. End of discussion. That's where it adds up to. So before you have to go, now your final points. Archaeological evidence proves the Bible is not from
Mansur,
God.
hold on. No, we're done.
I'm talking to her, not you. Because she gave me 5 reasons. You gave me 5 reasons. No, it's fair only if I respond very quickly. Not for very quickly in a few minutes.
If you're not going to have the time.
Very quickly, and you respond.
No, you can
Archaeological
say-
evidence
You can say your points to
demonstrates
the camera. You
demonstrates.
say your points to your camera.
No, I'm going to speak to you because
you're
you
free to leave when you want
gave
to
me.
leave. You don't have to stay.
Maybe in 2 minutes I finish.
You're free to leave when you
Okay,
want to leave.
1 minute, no problem. Archaeological evidence demonstrates the Bible has so many things wrong. Gets like, for example, the instances of so many things, and it provides anachronism, like Darius, you know, Darius
You're preaching to the choir.
gets it wrong, different time frame. Archaeologically,
I haven't ever answered.
you can respond, but I'm telling you that archaeologically, when we examine the Bible, no, I'm saying, let me make my point and then you respond.
No, but you're not
So,
gonna respond, are you?
Darius, okay?
Listen, Mansur,
There's
we've
an
been talking for
anachronism.
a couple of hours.
What do
right?
you say in reply?
There's no reply, right?
Okay,
So
then I'm
it's-
going to continue finishing the point.
No,
So,
we're just gonna end.
no, I'm not talking to you. I was speaking to this
Yeah, but
lady.
I think-
As I said, she gave me 1 minute to continue, and I am
Yeah, but
going
you're
to.
asking for a response.
Hello,
You're
I'm not
asking for-
finished. I didn't
I think she's
talk
just
1
entertaining
minute.
you because she's very polite.
Look.
alright? Okay,
You are
so-
interrupting every single time. I'm trying to finish in 1 minute,
been quite
and you're
happy.
making it longer 1 minute. So, manuscript evidence. Look, manuscript evidence. Very late, and they all disagree with each other. Byzantine, Alexandrian manuscripts, so many differences between them. Codex Sinaiticus, Vaticanus, Alexandrians, Washingtonians, they disagree in number of books, chapters, verses, so on. So that doesn't help. It's not an evidence for you, it's an evidence against you. Same exact message, I disagree. It's not the same exact message of the Old Testament. So when you said the reason you have an objective, verifiable evidence for Christianity is true, I feel that this fails in every single count. When it comes to me, do you want to know why Islam is true, objectively, verifiably? Or maybe another time.
Maybe another time.
Maybe another
And
time.
also,
Let's leave it there.
I don't think you can say that. I mean, I'm not responding to your points, and therefore there is no. It's not like saying. I mean, I still hold on to those 5 points, and I think there is a response to all of them.
And it will be as inadequate as we've demonstrated. I know what responses are available from scholarly communities, and I know that they agree with me in most of the things. Manuscript, if you go to British Library,
It's okay.
Have you been? Have you been?
I've been to the
Have you been?
I don't want to engage in
no worries.
science.
Nice talking to you. Take some rest, get some water, and maybe we can talk another time.
Yeah, God bless
Okay?
you.
See you later.
Let's wrap up.
So, to wrap this up then, we had a wonderful conversation with some Christians here. And as we have demonstrated, the very basis of their faith has no substance. It's an emotional belief. That's all it comes down to. When you have a critical examination of their belief system, Christianity, unfortunately, as we have demonstrated, falls apart in every single count. She had 5 examples. Consistent message. I showed the New Testament and Old Testament has inconsistency in the message. Gave 2 examples about the concept of God. New Testament says 3 in 1. Old Testament says no 1. In terms of inheriting the sin, New Testament believers believe you inherit the original sin and its punishment. Old Testament says in Ezekiel, no you don't. When it comes to the manuscript evidence, the manuscript evidence tells us the Bible has suffered corruption, addition, omission, and alteration. Go to the British Library, come with me one day. I will take any fees. Obviously, there aren't any fees, it's open. I will demonstrate to you how the manuscripts of the Bible demonstrate that Christians have corrupting their text throughout centuries. If you look at Codex Washingtoniensis, it has a longer, very longer expanded engine of Mark, unlike what's there in British Library, Codex Sinaiticus. So, Bible has suffered corruption in terms of additions, omissions, and alterations. She talks about the number of manuscripts. They're all late. Within the first 100 years, the number of manuscripts you have is 0. All later. So, the very crucial moment, you have no manuscript to support. Yeah? Other thing about archaeological evidence, archaeology shows the Bible is false. Because many examples, one of the examples I've given is about Darius, about the coin that was later, but Bible is anachronistically putting it forward in time, backwards in time. Error. Falsehood. That shows demonstratively that the foundation of their belief is shaky to the least and to the most, it's not believable. It's an emotional attachment. When it comes to Islam, I was going to say the Quran offers falsification tests. No one can imitate it. Today we had some guests coming along and acting like comedians, theatric performers. That's all they were capable of. When I gave them specific criteria which they could not bring an example and failed to do so, they started cheerleading with their fun girls. Those boys with their fun girls of these people. Between themselves, they cheerlead, and that's all they think. There you go, all there is. But when it comes to substance, they cannot withstand any substance Muslim provides. So alhamdulillah, walillahi alhamd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.